What do you think about Moyens?
We have 3 varieties and they're all the same breed. So we have one breed standard for toys, miniatures, and standards. And in our breed standard, there are differences because genetically they're distinct from each other. But in our breed standard, the only thing that should be different about them is size. So they're judged according to the same standard. And in FCI, there's 4 varieties. So in AKC, we have almost like a missing variety if you compare it to FCI. Where in the United States and Canada, in that gap, that the medium or dwarf, there's a Moyen. So Moyen just means medium. So the other variety is just medium. Is just a standard poodle. So our size ranges from anything above 15 inches in the US is just registered as a standard poodle.
Yeah.
So you have true medium poodles that are FCI registered European that are their own thing. And then in the US, most of the time, if someone is advertising Moyen Poodles, they're just breeding varieties together to get smaller sizes.
Mm-hmm.
And if they're registering them, they're just registered. Like, that's not a designation here. So there is a third consideration in that inner variety breeding is another kind of controversial topic in the breed community. And some people do it on purpose specifically for genetic diversity. There was a study done in like 2015 that was looking at comparing the genetics, some of the genetics between standards and minis, and that study showed that they're genetically as distinct as 2 different breeds. So on a genetic level, even though phenotypically they're bred for all the same characteristics, genotypically they're as distinct as breeding 2 different breeds together. We have it's called the Mid-Century Bottleneck in Poodles, where there was this really prolific show breeder that inbred like crazy and exported her dogs all over the world. And so all poodles basically go back to her dogs.
Oh, wow.
She was breeding in like the 50s, 60s, 70s. Yeah, her name is Jean Lyle, Wycliffe Kennels. So it's called the Wycliffe Bottleneck or the Mid-Century Bottleneck. So a lot of, and that probably exacerbated some health concerns we have in the breed that likely existed before that, but it just kind of made everything so related that it's hard to breed away from those things. It can be. So Addison's disease and sebaceous adenitis that we talked about earlier, and some other things like that. So there are some breeders who choose to breed minis and standards together to try to lower their genetic diversity. And so their motivation is really different than someone breeding Moyens to sell as just a marketing for pets.
Yeah.
It's still pretty controversial, a practice, because those health concerns aren't things we have genetic testing for. And so the idea is that by hiring the genetic diversity, by having dogs that are just more distantly related, you're kind of randomizing those genes so that they're not popping up. But it's pretty unpredictable at this point. We have, there's some testing that people do for genetic diversity and things for that. But without genetic testing, there's also a chance that you're just spreading those diseases across varieties because they're still not predictable.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a controversial thing. Some people
Yeah.
choose to do it, and I kind of think like that's fine for them to do. It's not something that I would do. So
Yeah.
I'm not super into intervariety breeding, but I think
Yeah.
it's something people can do. It's fine for that reason.
Right.
So
Yeah,
there's some really well-known breeders on TikTok that actually do intervariety breeding for that reason. Yeah. So some of the breeders people probably know of when they think of poodles on TikTok they do intervariety breeding for genetic diversity. So
Interesting.
yeah.
Yeah.